Well, last week we had a big commotion of Switch 2 apparently leaking, with tons of models and diagrams and tons of inside information suggesting that what we saw was indeed some version of Switch 2. It may have been an early prototype build, but it looks like it's going to be very similar to what the specs and what developers have been hearing that Switch 2 was actually going to be like. And it was a pretty big deal last week, leading a lot of people, myself included, to believe that there would be some type of reveal imminent of that announcement, and actually nothing happened. So we're still waiting for Nintendo to actually announce the thing on their own, but while we wait, it looks like we get a good understanding of what the Switch 2 can actually look like and what it's going to be like. But today, I want to go through everything that we learned from these leaks and data mines, including information from a famous Chinese YouTuber who actually made her own model of the console and actually 3D printed the whole thing, where she gives us a pretty clear comparison to that of the original Switch and tells us the differences and some information that she has learned along the way. So there's a lot of fun details in this video, and I want to go over is the Switch 2 everything that we thought it would be and everything that we'd hope it would be. But before we get started, stop what you're doing, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. A lot of you guys watching this video right now are not yet subscribed. Let's see how many people we can get with this one video. Last week we were getting hundreds of subscribers a day. Let's see if we can reach just simply 100 brand new subscribers with this very video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's dive into the Switch 2 leaks. Now, I actually want to work in reverse and start off with the Chinese YouTuber who actually recreated the console and 3D printed it based off of the leaked images that we've gotten of said console that you could see at the beginning of this video. She actually prints out what is apparently the Switch 2 and states she had already had the leaked files of the console and she was just waiting for someone to actually announce it first. She didn't want to be the first person to actually release the information on the internet, and once those images actually popped up, which she is claiming to be 100% true, she then posted a video of her actually talking about how she's had the code and the leaks for the information for a very long time. And in fact, she had the whole file for the model just sitting there waiting for someone else to announce it first before she could make her very own and actually 3D printed her version. So ideally, this thing is just a bigger Switch OLED, a bigger, more powerful version, and it looks very similar to that as well. And I've seen a lot of people online kind of either getting really excited about this because this is exactly what they've wanted, and some people getting very much let down. And I'm kind of in the middle. I am very excited that it's just keeping the traditional Switch formula, but it is kind of insane that Nintendo waited this long to release what looks like a Switch Pro. With this thing overall being a better Switch, shouldn't this have come out when we were getting those Switch Pro rumors like literally 4 or 5 years ago? Like, what took the console so long, and why did Nintendo seemingly internally delay the thing again when it looked like originally it was supposed to be revealed at the beginning of this year and released this holiday? But overall, I play video games for the video games, and if this helps to run games at a higher frame rate and better graphics, I'm definitely down for it, because the Switch right now, the current model, is pretty underpowered. Like I've been saying, guys, Nintendo's already announced that this is more along the lines of a new Nintendo Switch, so we knew this was going to be Switch 2. What did people really expect this console to be? Did they really think it was going to have dual screens like the leaks suggested, or at least those fake leaks a long time ago? That's just too expensive and it would not work right. 2 screens for each console? Yeah, that's just not happening. Besides the screen size, the overall build of the console is relatively the same. At the top, it's just a lot wider with more fan vents, and also has a USB-C port at the top. Thank God. Now we can actually charge the console as we play it instead of having a weird cord and wire run from underneath, which was always super awkward. As far as the specs, we know it has a dual fan and also a new and mighty powerful chip. She then moves on to say something that of course we knew that was going to happen and that we've been hearing, is that Switch 1 games will be compatible, so backwards compatible with the current Switch, which would just be insane if they're showing off all of these new games, Echoes of Wisdom, Mario Party Jamboree, and Mario & Luigi Brothership, and then just announcing the thing in the midst of all those games and saying, hey, you can't play any of those games on this new console coming out. It would just be insanely bad for Nintendo. You can also see the screen is clearly bigger on the Switch 2, and in fact, it's an inch bigger with its screen being 8 inches instead of the original 7 for Switch OLED. She does reconfirm something that we've been hearing, is that it's only going to be LCD screens, not OLED, which is a painful step back because the OLED is a night and day difference from the OLED screen. But of course, course, this gives Nintendo a reason to release a Switch 2 OLED like a couple years later, and you know they will. Now we can finally discuss the Joy-Con, which have the biggest differences and improvements from the original. First off, they're a lot bigger, which is definitely going to help because they always felt small in a lot of people's hands. It has more of a sleeker curvature design to fit in your palm a lot better. So yeah, that's a big plus and a big upgrade because these are the main controllers that you'll play with when you're playing in handheld at least. This also goes for the back of the Joy-Con itself, where the back trigger buttons are a lot bigger as well for those that were having problems hitting those individual buttons. But with these new Joy-Con also come a new way to attach the Joy-Con onto the console. This time it won't be slide, and you won't have that same slide and switch animation that we're used to seeing. Instead, she actually even tells us what it will look like, where Nintendo shows off the Joy-Con kind of attaching from the sides of the console and then revealing the console name below it. And in fact, we knew this for a very long time, as it was rumored that these Joy-Con were going to be electromagnetically connected, where they just attach to the sides instead of sliding down, which actually makes attaching and detaching these a lot easier. So I do wonder if that Switch sound effect at the beginning of a Switch trailer is going to change as well. Continuing on with the Joy-Con design, she talks about now there's going to be 2 buttons on the back of the Joy-Con for you to hit with your index fingers. Now she claims to not really know what this could be, but you can just click it with the pointer of an index finger, but I think it actually might be a way to detach the Joy-Con in an easier method, because on the original Joy-Con you can see that they were small buttons up there, and it was sometimes hard to press down on those in order to slide off the Joy-Con, so maybe this is just a new and easier way in order to slide the Joy-Con off. Or maybe they're just simply new paddles for you to map for specific button inputs, kind of similar to the Xbox Series X Pro Series controller. It's a lot of names. You know what I'm talking about. The Elite controller. That's what I was trying to say. And something that she really wasn't able to show us in the video, but the SL and SR triggers on the side of the Joy-Con rails are also a lot bigger now. And you can also see where it will attach magnetically, and it's different than the sliding function of the current Joy-Con. There's also a new button on the right Joy-Con towards the bottom underneath home, which has a C on it, and she's trying to predict what this could be. She claims it could be some type of new camera function. She thinks this could go hand in hand with the USB-C port at the top of the console, which could be allowing you to add some type of camera device that Nintendo would sell to allow for the motion function of the Joy-Con and the console itself to be a lot better and more smooth along the lines of the Wii, with the original sensor bar and the sensor from the Wii remote. As you know, some games do have motion with the Joy-Con, but they don't work 100% accurate, and there's a lot of resetting that you have to do. So maybe it has something to do with motion or something along those lines. Now we get into the nitty-gritty fun stuff with the specs. Apparently, this is going to run very similar to that of the PS4 and the Xbox One of the previous generation. And I know a lot of people are going to complain and say, "Are you kidding me? Nintendo's a generation behind again." But this generation is very important for Nintendo, considering the fact that this is Nintendo, everybody. It is a portable, handheld, and home console hybrid to play Nintendo games on. Most people are buying this console to play Mario, to play Zelda, to play Kirby, to play Splatoon. We don't need extreme 4K graphics of the current gen consoles. Like, it's just not needed. Plus, it's a handheld console, so for it to be able to run PS4 and Xbox One graphics, it's pretty insane. We do know that it will be using the Tegra X1 GPU chip, and I believe the NVIDIA T239 chip. And all of this is in her video, which I'll link down below if you want to check that out for yourself. I'm not super tech guy, so yeah, take all this with a grain of salt. But also, she compares the two models and how different they're going to be from the original Switch for Switch 2. The biggest takeaway, at least for me, is the giant leap in storage, going from a 64GB eMMC to a 256GB SSD drive, which is pretty massive of a jump. And something else that we've been hearing is that it will have DLSS, and if you don't know what that stands for, it means Deep Learning Super Sampling, which is a new way for image rendering with technology that actually uses AI in order to upscale images, making them look even better than they're supposed to look. It's a whole thing. You can do the research on your own. It took me a while to figure it out as well, but yeah, it's just going to make games look better for us at faster times and without absolutely cooking your console. Now, when is this thing coming? Well, she's stating it will be released before April of next year, which of course is what we've been hearing from a lot of different rumors, and it makes a lot of sense if they want to line it up with the original Switch release. She claims it's going to be revealed at some type of Nintendo Direct or conference next month, which We'll just wait and see. I'm tired of predicting when this thing's going to be shown off. We'll see if Nintendo actually does it in October. And she's not 100% sure, but she's just stating that she's been hearing from a lot of sources that the starting price is $400, which is $50 more than the Switch OLED, and sounds to be like a huge bang for your buck if it is more powerful than things like the Steam Deck and it's cheaper. I'm like, come on. Why would you not want to get one of these? So now it's time for me to take over, where we talk about the games, and I just want to give a quick overview as to what we can expect. Of course, we had all the hardware and everything that we can expect from the internal design of this console and the specs, but what about the games? That's why we buy Nintendo consoles in the first place. What is Nintendo setting up for year one? Well, it's looking to be pretty massive. We know we are well overdue for a brand new 3D Mario and Mario Kart game, so I would hope that Nintendo is gearing up to show us trailers for these things. I mean, especially if one of those are going to be a big launch title, which in my mind it still has to be, because what else would be? So hopefully we see a big trailer for one of these games very soon, which is going to be super exciting. But a brand new 3D Mario and a Mario Kart in the same year of a launch for a brand new console, I mean, Nintendo's setting themselves up for a massive success, especially when we hear how big this 3D Mario game is apparently going to be, being kind of like the Breath of the Wild moment for Mario, allowing him to traverse an open world and tons of stuff to do in that open world. I can't wait. But we also know games like Metroid Prime 4 is currently in production and could very well be maybe a cross release or maybe just straight up a release on Switch 2, which is a huge deal. There's other games that's definitely time for as well. Games like Luigi's Mansion 4 or a new Donkey Kong game, for crying out loud, or maybe we could finally see Kirby make another spin since the Forgotten Land. And also Splatoon 4 is probably around the corner, considering the fact that it's brand new hardware. Nintendo's definitely going to want to take advantage of that with a humongously popular franchise like Splatoon. And that's just some of the things that we could see in the next year, because it just keeps on going. Because yes, we can also expect a new Smash Brothers soon, because it's been a pretty long time since Smash Ultimate wrapped up, and we could be seeing something very soon for that game. Don't knock it. But I do want to dive right back into that reveal. Yes, I did make a prediction that we would see the reveal this month in September. In fact, I bet that if I was wrong, I would dress up as Tingle for Halloween and run around outside. And it looks like I'm wrong, because this is the last week and it's Echoes of Wisdom week, so there's a very good chance that I'm going to have to dress up as Tingle. But a promise is a promise. I will keep my word. Once September is over and there's no reveal, there will be an October video of me running around as Tingle. But let's just try to figure out, if Nintendo is going to reveal this thing in October, when is the best time? Well, the only main event we know of next month is Mario Party Jamboree, which is coming out on Thursday, October 17th. Nintendo has an extreme history of not really having a big show or presentation the week of a new game. They definitely don't want to tarnish those game sales, so yeah, I think it's best that we just cancel and cross out that whole week altogether. I also don't think Nintendo's going to reveal the thing at the end of October, especially the week of Halloween. I feel like they just want to save that whole holiday week. I'm also going to get rid of any Saturdays or Sundays, because it's not very likely Nintendo's going to reveal or even announce anything on those days either. So blocking off any other holidays and just opening up the weeks that make sense, it's definitely week 1, 2, or 3 I think is the most likely. And personally, I think the golden weeks are week 1 and 2 of October. That's just what I'm hoping for. Once again, I have absolutely no clue what Nintendo's going to do. But personally, it looks like week 2 is completely empty with absolutely nothing and could be a prime time for Nintendo to announce something. I mean, in fact, I wouldn't even put it all the way past them to completely be done with September. I mean, the last day of September, on Monday the 30th, they could just come out and say, hey, there's a Nintendo Direct coming tomorrow on Tuesday. So yeah, that would be bad for me because I have an allergy appointment there. But oh my goodness, Switch 2 is just all over the place right now with an extremely hectic last week. I mean, I'm just trying to breathe from all those supposed leaks and rumors. But yeah, it looks like it's just going to keep getting crazier and crazier until Nintendo reveals the thing themselves. But all we can do now is just be patient and wait, because this week at least we have something to look forward to with The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom coming out this Thursday. And I can't wait for the reviews to come out and talk about how this game is doing and actually get my hands on my copy this Thursday. But let me know if you're excited for Echoes of Wisdom, and how excited are you to finally see and get your hands on the Nintendo Switch 2. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.